I'm just putting this video together to talk a little bit about this new potential vulnerability in Windows Defender. Anyone who's running Windows 10 is running Windows Defender, whether you have a current another antivirus or not, and Windows Defender's executables stay on your computer even if you disable it. One of the programs in Windows Defender has a feature in it that allows you to download files from the internet and potentially download malware. And what it does, I'm just going to show you this here. If you run this command, it's called mpcmd.exe, and I'm just going to put my computer into monitor only mode very quickly so we can run this. So if we run this command, what it does is it just goes out to this URL. In this case, I'm just going to download putty, so I'm not going to download malware, and I'm going to save it in this folder. What a lot of the malware is doing is it's saving it into the startup folder, so it automatically runs when you log in. So if I just run this, we'll see here, and if I go into this folder here, we'll see that this test file is being created, and it's actually putty. Now, if you're running ThreatLocker's application whitelisting, it doesn't matter whether the file came from Windows Defender or not. We're going to block that file from executing if it's not trusted. So if I turn off monitor mode here, just give that a second to download the policy, we'll see that this file is not allowed to run. It gets blocked by ThreatLocker's whitelisting. But of course, a better scenario would be to stop the file from being downloaded to begin with. So just like any application, you can ring fence it in ThreatLocker. We do recommend you ring fence as many applications as you can, and you don't let them get access to the internet unless they need to. In this case, for your convenience, we've created a policy to ring fence Windows Defender out of the box as a suggested policy, and we've added it as the default configuration for any new customers or any new groups you add today. If they are existing groups, you need to go in here and you need to add the suggested policy. So if I go into here now and I just click add suggested policy, you'll see here there's a policy for Windows Defender. It explains why you might want to add it. You just go into here, click add suggested policies. You'll see the policy appear in your workstations group here in this case, and you can edit this policy and you can see what it does. Essentially what it does, it says allow Windows Defender to run, but to ring fence the application, and don't let it go out to the internet except these Microsoft permitted servers. Now if I do the same thing as I did before, now I've taken this out of monitor only mode, we'll see that it actually fails to download that file. So I'm just going to delete the file here. And if I just run this here, you can see that's denied. And if I go into the audit here, there's a few things that are worth noting in the audit. The first one is if I just filter by the action type of install, what the install action type means is essentially when was the file created. So we can see before when I tried, it was created by the Windows Defender process. One of the terrifying things about this is Microsoft tends to ignore things that are created by the processing, and so do many antiviruses do that because they expect it to be trusted. Quite often antiviruses are excluded from scanning of various other security tools, so it's really important that you don't exclude this from your security tools from scanning. We can see that it created the file on here, installed it. The other things that are worth looking at, if I look at the network here, we can see this was blocked. It's trying to, this is putty server, it's trying to go there, and it was actually blocked. And you can see before I was in monitor only mode, so it wasn't blocked. It does flag as ring fence, but it was actually permitted, so it was able to go out to the internet and download that file. So a couple of things to take from this. Of course, any tool can be vulnerable. I don't want to beat up on Microsoft too much, although it's very easy to do. We've seen many security tools compromised in the past. The best thing you can do with any tool, even the tools you trust, is don't give them more access than they need. So if you have an application that doesn't need access to the internet, or it only needs limited access to the internet, stop it accessing the internet. If the application doesn't need access to your files, stop it accessing your files from the ring fencing. And of course, if you're using the application whitelisting, it won't be able to run anyway, even if it does download. Even if it does get downloaded by the Windows Defender tool, the best thing to do in security is reduce your surface area as much as possible, and that reduces your exposure for attack. Thank you for listening, and have a good evening.